There's some new research out which reveals Australians buy more clothes per person than any other country, 200,000 tonnes ending up in landfill every year. Advocates are now calling on the government to introduce a fast fashion tax and garment repair subsidies.
All right, to discuss this, bring in Nina Gbor from the Australian Institute.
Morning.
Nina, good to have you here. You're one of the researchers into this, so just tell us what's behind this report.
Right, so as you mentioned, we discovered that Australia is one of the biggest consumers of fashion per capita in the world. So, you know, the average person buys about 56 items per person per year. In the United States, which is, you know, the second biggest consumer, is 53, the UK 33, China 30.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's interesting. So from July, retailers can opt in to pay 4 cents from every new clothing item sold towards a sustainability scheme. What's your take on this? Because retailers are already struggling as well.
Yeah, so it's more like legislation. According to what the Environment Minister said last year, they will be forced to join
so
this.
It won't be an opt-in?
It won't be an opt-in.
Okay.
It's currently an opt-in. It won't be an opt-in.
Okay.
But yeah, retailers are struggling. However, you know, this is why we are recommending a tax on fast fashion, to protect Australian businesses and also protect the environment. And this is one of the reasons they're struggling, because we're buying, you know, ultra fast fashion, which is incredibly cheap, and then Australian businesses are struggling because of it and, you know, being forced to close down.
Yeah, there's other things with the cost of living crisis too. Aussies are donating their clothes too, in such an extraordinary number. Yeah. And then, you know, they're giving it to like a Vinnie's or whatever, and they're charging money for that, sometimes up to, you see shirts on there for $50 at Vinnie's. And you start to question, like, well, what's the point of what you're doing if you're supposed to be helping Aussies out there?
Yeah.
So when Aussies are doing the right thing, they're still being charged.
Yeah, doing the right thing is interesting, because the problem is that we're buying too much. We're over-consuming in the first place, right? So what we should be doing is buying less and using our things for longer, keeping it longer. So yes, there's also a cost of living crisis that affects, you know, charity shops and op shops. They have bills to pay as well. However, the issue is that because we're over-consuming, you know, as you mentioned, over 200,000 tons is going to landfill. Another 100,000 tons is being exported to countries in the global south and filling up their landfills.
Right.
Right. So it's a much, much bigger problem. And in terms of Australian doing the right thing and donating, I think that there are other options. There's things like swapping clothes. I don't know if you're familiar with that concept.
Yeah.
Clothes swapping, yeah. And this is, you know, how people can get clothing for free, you know, if they're struggling. Or instead of buying brand new, you know, you can have events where everyone brings clothes that you no longer want, that are in really good condition, and you still get that dopamine hit, right? It's new to you, even though it's not brand new.
That's true.
Yeah,
so,
and it's coming from someone you know. There's sort of more of a sense of trust in it as well.
Exactly.
These rental sites are really popular now, where you can rent a dress for a fraction of the price that it would cost you to buy it in whole. On the whole, are they helping? Are they making a difference?
Yeah, there's a couple of schools of thought on that. So first of all, there's less reliance on natural resources that are used to make the clothing, you know, the water and you know, if it's cotton, for instance, or any other material, you know, that you have to use, there's less reliance on the environment, basically. However, with a lot of those rental sites, you know, there's the other school of thought that talks about dry cleaning, which is not good for the environment, right? Every time a garment is used, it has to be dry cleaned.
Right.
And then there's also the emissions from transportation, you know, posting from one place to the other.
You know, I can hear people at home going, what am I supposed to do
do?
then? How am I supposed to do? What can we do? And we were trapped one way, we're trapped the other way.
Buy less. Is that the key?
Buy nothing. No, I'm just
Buy nothing? Buy less.
No, what we can do is that whatever we buy, they say that the most sustainable thing is what's already in your wardrobe. So whatever you have, use it for much longer. You know, you can restyle a garment, which means find different ways of, you know, layering and accessorizing so you can use it for different types of occasions as opposed to buying used. You know, so if you're going to a wedding, instead of buying a brand new dress, take a dress you already have and, you know, use different accessories, different bags, different shoes, different, you know, something over it, just to give it a different look, right? That's restyling. And as I mentioned, swapping clothes. I mean, it is
a great idea.
So much fun. Make it into a party, right?
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, and yeah, there's so many other alternatives. One of the things we do recommend in our report as well is banning textile waste exports to other countries.
Yep.
And
for sure.
yeah, instead we should be recycling all of our textile waste here in Australia. We have the resources to do it,
Yep.
and so we should be doing that here as
Right.
well.
Great
to get
insight,
your
Nina.
insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Visit australiainstitute.org.au for all our latest research, commentary and analysis, as well as details for upcoming events and webinars.